This is how language learning boosts your brain and mental health. As a doctor, I went through all the research to find out how you can optimize your brain's potential for your health, and here's the results. Imagine a shield that could protect your brain from the ravages of time and disease. A superpower that enhances your mental abilities, boosts your creativity, and even helps you make better decisions. But this isn't science fiction. It's a real-life ability you can develop starting today. But unfortunately, according to the WHO, the dementia rates just keep increasing, with 10 million new cases each year. So how can something as simple as picking up another language improve your mental health, enhance your brain power, and even delay dementia? And how can you use this to your advantage? As a physician who's fluent in 7 languages, I will break down the answers to all of these questions for you step by step. How it happens, the science behind it, and how you can implement all of this to your own benefit. Let's get started. I doubt it will come as a surprise to anyone to hear that children tend to have an easier time with learning languages. Studies show that children tend to have certain advantages when it comes to learning languages as opposed to adults. This stems from their increased neural plasticity, basically the ability to form new brain cells. This makes their brain very adaptable, and so children are naturally better at absorbing and reproducing new sounds, which is why your pronunciation in your native language is perfect, but when it comes to foreign languages, we all have a tough time because we were not exposed to them at a young age. Now, we all have met multilingual raised children and been witness to their inborn advantages when it comes to languages. Heck, maybe you're even one of those, like me. But their cognitive advantages don't just stop at language learning. Multilingual children are on average more intelligent than their monolingual counterparts. They also have advantages when it comes to emotional and social development, and they also have less behavioral problems, and they have a higher self-esteem than their monolingual peers. It's a stark contrast to the outdated belief that learning multiple languages could hinder a child's development, which was actually the most prevalent assumption up until as recently as the 20th century. Science has thoroughly debunked that myth. Now, let's talk about what happens when you learn a new language after your childhood. Polyglots experience some truly remarkable brain benefits, including increased gray matter, especially in areas associated with language processing, and enhanced brain flexibility when switching between languages. But the benefits don't just stop at language skills. Polyglots often demonstrate many different cognitive advantages, such as higher intelligence, fine-tuned listening abilities, and an enhanced memory for tasks even unrelated to language. Sounds logical, right? Language learners spend a considerable amount of time listening super attentively to something difficult to understand, memorizing new words and grammar rules, and much more. So keep in mind, next time you're going through your daily flashcards, your hippocampus will thank you. You see, polyglots constantly have to choose between many different words and grammar structures and think outside the box to find alternative expressions or meanings. This regular mental exercise strengthens the prefrontal cortex, improves your creativity, concentration, multitasking, decision-making, and problem-solving skills. As you can see, the brain is incredibly adaptable and continues to grow with each new language you attempt to learn. The whole brain gets involved, from the prefrontal cortex to the temporal lobe and everything in between. And if you're fascinated by the ways you can enhance your brain power, make sure to subscribe for more insights on how to build a stronger, healthier mind. But if you're wondering how exactly this process works in our brains, let me show you the science behind it, and I'll explain it to you step by step. To understand how language learning transforms our brains, we first need to take a quick look of the key players in language processing. So what happens inside our brains when we learn a new language, and how does that help to protect it from deterioration? First, we have Broca's area in the front part of the brain. This area is associated and responsible for language production and articulation. Imagine trying to speak without it. You'd understand everything, but you would struggle to form words. This is actually the case with patients that suffer from strokes. Basically, restricting blood flow in that area and ultimately rendering them unable to speak. Next, there's Wernicke's area in the temporal lobe, so on the side of the brain. When this area gets damaged, patients might actually be able to produce sounds, but it's mostly gibberish, kind of like when babies try to talk. As you can see, these areas are super important and they engage intensively when we learn a new language, keeping our brain active and healthy. But here's where it gets really interesting. Language processing isn't just a left brain activity. It involves constant information exchange from all parts of your brain, including both sides. Here's how it works. Studies suggest that learning multiple languages increases the white matter in the corpus callosum, the bridge between your brain's two hemispheres. This increased connection enhances the communication between the various different parts within your brain, boosting your brain's cognitive functions. So basically, when you learn a new language, you don't just improve your communication with other people, it literally improves the communication within your own brain. You see, when you're learning a new language, you're not just memorizing new words and grammar rules. You're literally reshaping your own brain, building stronger and more complex neural networks. Studies from Georgetown University have shown that bilingual people have more gray matter within their brains, as you can see in this image right here. Basically, this means that when you learn a new language, it's like your brain is going to the gym every day, getting stronger and more resilient with each new word and phrase you learn. Just like going to the gym strengthens your muscles, studying a language builds new neural pathways, enhancing cognitive resilience. Obviously, these cognitive advantages sound amazing, but here's the bad news. Our brains naturally decline and shrink as we age. We keep losing brain cells with time, and sometimes we might even accelerate this process, like when we get drunk or when our brain gets injured when we play sports. So is there anything we can do about it? Or is it too late for you to reap these benefits? Spoiler alert, learning a new language will protect your brain from deterioration. Promised. And here's how. Bilingual people develop dementia on average 4.5 years later than their monolingual counterparts. It's true, and it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the incredible brain-boosting benefits of language learning. Remember earlier when we talked about how your brain grows when it gets a good workout? This increased brain density is what researchers call a cognitive reserve, protecting your brain against aging and diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. Research also suggests that multilingual stroke patients recover faster than their monolingual counterparts. But it's not just about having more brain matter. Learning languages keeps different parts of your brain active as you age, maintaining healthy neuronal synapses and keeping your brain sharp and agile. And here's the good news. You will always be able to reap these benefits no matter at what age you start, as you can see in this paper. So what are you waiting for? Just set your mind to it and start learning a new language as soon as you can. Now, let me share a personal story that illustrates this point. My great aunt lived to the incredible age of 104. Even in her final years, she was able to recite French poems she had learned in school, despite being Greek and never even having lived in France. As you can see, this is a powerful example of how learning languages keeps our brains sharp well into old age. But learning a new language isn't just a good workout for your brain, it can also be a good medicine for your mental health. Studies have shown that language learning can decrease anxiety, boost self-confidence, and even reduce feelings of loneliness. And these benefits apply to all ages. Just think about it for a moment. When you're learning a new language, you're opening new doors to new experiences and connections. You can meet people you might have never been able to communicate with. In fact, I wouldn't even exist if my Greek and German parents wouldn't have been able to connect with each other by learning each other's languages. So the evidence is clear. From the neurological benefits to its impact on mental health and social connections, learning languages is one of the most powerful ways to boost your brain health enhance your cognitive abilities, and enrich your life. So at this point, you might feel motivated to start learning a language yourself. But some of you might know how difficult it can be to learn a new language, commit to it, and ultimately master it to reap all of these juicy benefits. And I'm a witness to that myself. I struggled so much learning new languages, but today I speak 7 of them and I can learn a new one in about 6 months. And you can do it too. So if you're curious about how I achieved this and how you might be able to do the same, I've got some great news. I've created a detailed video breaking down my language learning methods while speaking fluently 7 different languages, so be sure to check it out here right now. See you there, and thanks for watching Beyond BrainWaves.